evening, everyone. Super excited to have every one of you here. Thank you for honoring our invitation. Thank you for coming to celebrate with us and every fantastic and great woman out there. So we will be starting now, real life. This is Regamus Foundation. I would like to first talk about us before I call in the moderator, who will now introduce the keynote speaker and every one of us. Regamus Foundation, we just celebrated 5 years last week. So, yes, no, this week, third. So we are 5 years old. Woo!
Great.
We're super excited. 5 years of impact, 5 years of transforming lives. We've been able to touch the lives of widows, youth, abused girls, and less privileged in the orphanages. We are so excited how God has helped us. I can tell you, we wouldn't have been able to do anything without God backing us up. So it is the reason why we are here, and the work we do is for Him. So we are passionate about the work we are called to do. We empower women and the children and the youth through education, through empowerment initiatives, community development initiatives, through advocacy and leadership trainings. And we are excited, we are excited, we are excited. So my name is Dr. Regina Ina. I'm the executive director, and I think we're all here. So I will be handing over the baton to the moderator, Ms. Chichi. She will introduce herself and we'll take it up from there. You're welcome, Madam Chichi.
Thank you, Madam Regina Inem. Thank you very much. And I want to say a very big welcome to everyone in the room. Welcome to our guest speakers. We are very pleased to have you. So very quickly, just like Madam Regina had earlier stated today, we are a group of empowered women, and we are standing alongside the United Nations to commemorate the International Women's Day. This International Women's Day is focused at looking at empowering women, celebrating our wins as women, and also raising our voices to accelerate progress. And when we talk about progress, we mean taking decisive action. And so today, alongside with our guest speakers, we will be looking at how women in Nigeria, as well as women globally, can collectively accelerate progress in attaining women empowerment, which includes gender equality and socio-economic as well as political representation of women all over the world. I would just give a brief objective of what today's event is looking at. We are celebrating women's achievement to recognize the remarkable contributions of women in social, economic, and political spheres, promote gender equality, advocate for equal opportunities and rights for women and girls worldwide, to raise awareness on women's issues, address challenges such as gender-based violence, wage gaps, and limited access to education and healthcare, to educate and inform, sharing insights on the significance of International Women's Day and the ongoing struggles for gender equality, to inspire and also to empower. We want to motivate women and girls to break barriers and pursue their dreams fearlessly, to foster collaboration and networking by connecting women leaders, activists, and advocates to drive collective action. By so doing, we amplify women's voices, highlighting stories of resilience, success, and empowerment, while promoting policy and social change to encourage policies that support women's rights in education. So, once again, I would like to welcome everyone here today joining us to celebrate the International Women's Day 2025 with the theme Empowering Her, Breaking Barriers and Building Future. Please, can we put our hands together and give ourselves a round of applause for today's event celebrating our success? I believe is a big milestone. Thank you all. Thank you very much. So for us to kickstart this event, I would be calling on the Executive Director, Ragamos Foundation, in person of Ambassador Mrs. Regina Inem to give us the welcome address. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam PJ. Thank you so much. Um, Today we celebrate women globally, and our theme, empowering her, breaking barriers, shaping the future. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished and honorable women that are here, and the inspiring women across the globe. Today, as we gather to celebrate International Women's Day 2025, we stand on the shoulders of countless women who have dared to challenge the status quo, shattered glass ceilings, and paved the way for a more inclusive and equitable world. Our theme is a call to action, a reminder that the fight for gender equality is not just a woman's fight, but a collective responsibility. For centuries, women have faced barriers, some visible, some invincible. These barriers have limited our access to education, leadership, financial resources, and equal opportunities. Yet, history has shown that when women are empowered, societies thrive, economies grow, and the future is transformed. Empower a woman, and you empower a nation. Breaking barriers. Breaking barriers requires courage, resilience, and unshakable belief in our worth. Across the world, women are rising, leading in boardrooms, innovating in STEM, breaking records in sports, and driving social change in politics and governance. But despite these advances, challenges remain. Women and girls still face discrimination, gender based violence, and limited representation in decision making spaces. It is time to break these barriers systematically and intentionally. Governments must ignite and enforce policies that promote gender equality. Organizations must prioritize inclusivity, ensuring that women are given leadership opportunities. Communities must dismantle harmful stereotypes and create safe environments where every girl can dream without limitation. Empowering women. Empowering women begins with education, mentorship, and access to opportunities. Every girl deserves quality education. Every woman deserves a seat at the table. And every mother deserves economic independence. When women are educated, they create solutions. When they are mentored, they mentor others. And when they are financially empowered, they uplift entire generations. As a leader, I have dedicated my life to education, leadership, and empowerment opportunity through the Regamos Foundation and through Regamos Youth Academy, where we offer quality education at little or no cost to children of vulnerable families that can't go to school. We are not just educating young minds, but equipping them with confidence, skills, and mindset to break barriers. Our work in entrepreneurship, leadership training, and advocacy is proof that empower women, empower others. We are yet to shape the future. The future is female. The future is bold. The future is innovative. The future is unstoppable. But for this future to become a reality, we must act now. Every woman must act now. Every woman must act now. We must invest in the next generation of female leaders, encourage young girls to step into fields once dominated by men, and build networks of support that amplify women's voices. As we celebrate today, let us commit to mentoring and supporting the next generation of women leaders, advocating for policies that protect and uplift women, challenging discrimination whenever we see it, investing in women led businesses and innovations. In conclusion, women are not just breaking barriers, we are building bridges. Bridges that connect past struggles with future victories. The road ahead may still have challenges, but together we are unstoppable. So, to every young girl out there, you are strong, you are capable, you are the future. To every woman in leadership, keep paving the way. And to our allies, thank you for standing with us. Let us empower her, break barriers, and shape a future where every woman thrives. Happy International Women's Day. God bless you all.
Thank you, Ambassador Regina, for that explicit welcome address. Just like you said, when women are empowered, societies thrive and economies grow. Very powerful, very powerful. So at this junction, I would be introducing myself properly. Apologies, I didn't introduce myself at the beginning. I am Margaret Chichi Nkiri. I'm the founder of Leading Africa. Leading Africa is an acronym for Leadership, Empowerment, and Development Innovation Initiative, a nonprofit organization located in Surulere, Lagos, Nigeria. We are dedicated to empowering women and girls, as well as the vulnerable population, which includes the youths, children, persons with disabilities, and the elderly. So to further take up our discussions, I would be calling on a very distinguished guest who will be giving us the keynote address. Can you welcome Mrs. Sidi Ojo? She is the founder of the University for Women Africa, and she's also the former Commissioner of Education, Ogun State. Can we please put
Okay,
our
just to
hands
add to that,
together?
please. Sorry, Madam Chichi. Please,
Yes.
she is professor. You can just call her. She's Professor Mrs.
Oh,
Please,
my apologies.
Don't worry about that. Those titles don't
please,
matter.
it's not bad.
I'm so,
No problem.
I'm so,
We will
so,
draw her
so, so
certificate.
sorry. So, so
We will
sorry for
draw
that.
her certificate.
Please forgive me. Forgive me.
It's okay. It is my pleasure to be
Please,
here.
let's put our hands together for Professor Sidi Osho. She is the founder of the University for Women Africa, and she's also the former commissioner for Education, Ogun State, Nigeria. I would read a brief profile of Professor C.D. Osho. Professor Osho is a distinguished award-winning, outstanding, and hardworking Nigerian academic and agricultural expert, renowned for her extensive contributions to higher education and sustainable agriculture. She is an action result oriented, highly productive academic with leadership qualities, managing multidisciplinary projects with over 40 years experience in teaching, research, administration, strategic planning, international collaborations, private sector partnership, and building robust relationships that are still thriving. Professor Sidi also worked in various institutions, which includes Olabisi Onabanjo University, the National Open University of Nigeria. She served as the pioneer vice chancellor of Afe Babalola University, Ado Ekiti, where she played a pivotal role in establishing the institution's academic foundations and fostering its growth. In addition to her academic and professional achievements, Professor Osho is the president and founder of the C.D. Osho Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to human development and poverty alleviation in Nigeria and Africa. Throughout her illustrious career, Professor C.D. Osho has been an advocate for women in higher education, gender issues, women empowerment, thus to the creation of the University for Women Africa. She redefines education. She captures flexible e-learning for women using digital learning platforms to enhance the girl-child higher education, thus promoting access, empowerment, poverty reduction, employment generation, and wealth creation. Professor Sidi Osho's contributions to agriculture, food processing, education, gender equality, empowerment for sustainable development in Africa has left an indelible mark on the sector, both within Nigeria and internationally. Please once again join me to welcome Professor Sidi Osho. Can we put our hands together for her?
Thank you very much. First, I want to congratulate all women today. Happy International Women's Day. I wish all the women that has joined on this program and all women that are even not even attending this program, blissful life. The life of a woman tells a lot about her strength, what they achieve, how they achieve it, and how much impact they make. Without women, no nation can stand. God has made it so that a woman will always be in the picture to advance development, both at the family level, at a career level, and as a nation. So on that note, I want to thank Ambassador Regina Imen, and of course, my dear Chichi, who introduced me so well, for giving me an opportunity and a platform to share my own experiences and my ideas on this important day, International Women's Day, 8th of March 2025. The theme for this year is Accelerate Action, Empower Her, Breaking Barriers, and Building Futures. That is a mouthful, but that is a lot of work that women need to do. I also want to congratulate Rigamos Foundation for their 5 years celebration. We wish you more success as you impact lives and community across Nigeria and across the world. Well done, my sister. This day aims to bring attention to ongoing fight for gender equality. Quote, accelerate action. Hashtag accelerate action for gender equality. It is important and is meaningful for us to start this change for gender equality. If you listen to the World Economic Forum and the results of their data for 2025, it says for us to make progress now, we need to take into action as soon as possible because by 2158, which is 133 years from today, which is roughly 5 generations from now, for us to be able to reach that potential of gender parity and gender equality. That is a lot of work. 5 generations. So I hope we will still be around in 5 generations. That is 132 to 133 years, and that's a long time. And so this calls for increased momentum and urgency in addressing all these systemic barriers and biases. It calls for attention for personal and professional spheres of all walks of women across the board. It calls attention to strategies. It calls attention to impacting women at grassroots, advancing women, the girl child at all levels to elevate them with implementation strategies. Now, when I was thinking of how I'm putting all this document together, this presentation together, it says accelerate action, which means speed, put speed and more activities in your action. What are the strategies you need in trying to accelerate action, breaking barriers? As individuals, we can take a lot of individual steps in our daily lives, in our community, and also as a group, and as as women work together as a network, we can change stereotypes, we can challenge discrimination, we can challenge and question biases, we can celebrate our women that are successful, and we can also share knowledge, which I want to thank Rigamas Foundation that is giving us this platform to share knowledge and experiences to encourage ourselves and encourage others. I will start my own presentation with a few initiatives that I think might add. There are lots that can add, and I look forward to listening to other speakers. Every day, women are learning. Across the world, people are suggesting major ideas, but these are the ones that I think will help us to break the barriers and accelerate action. There is what we call support the supporters. And when you hear support the supporters, it's also like Women Leading Women initiative. We in the City Osho Foundation and the University for Women, we've been doing this for quite a while, but quietly. We think that, as we continue to identify successful women that have impacted their careers, either in their career path or in their homes, we use them as mentors to mentor other women and the girls. They start from the grassroots. We help them. They help to mentor women using philanthropic ideas, using, advancing women education, giving them scholarships, training them, and giving them also recognition, all with a goal to build sustainable development for, women in this time, to address the issue of economy, environmental and socio-cultural and political and scientific technological goals. So Women Leading Women is an initiative that turns promises into action. And so it's an action-led activity whereby we empower and mentor women across classes. And you can create a lot of classes, but the classes we have watched, we have touched is the market women. Identify a leader in the market women agenda and also use it to empower other market women. Women in academics, empower women in administration. As a past vice chancellor, I've always been called on, because right now in Nigeria, we have over 200 universities, and we have just about 20 female vice chancellors. So they keep calling on us to mentor and to train other women that take up that responsibility. Women in journalism, religious women, empowering religious women, women in business, women in banking, women in the legal profession, women in the health profession, women in engineering, using them to address the issues of STEM in education, science, and technology. The last time we had a discussion with the Secure ID, who used our office to train other women and give them scholarships so that they can, go in the area of mathematics and physics. Women in information, communication technology, women in governance, in politics. We identify women that have, that have won elections, that are sitting at the National Assembly, a state assembly, and how they can encourage other women to join them. Women in arts and culture, women in fashion, women in real estate and property development and management. That helps us. The last one we did was that we were looking at rural housing scheme, and the women in real estate and property development were identifying other women to train them on how they can help build their careers. Women in rural areas, women in diaspora, women in sports, and the list goes on. You can add on to that list, but that is what we have been able to use our platform to achieve. But for you to be able to even lead another person, you need a skill. You need the skill of leadership. You need the skill to be able to connect with others, for people to be able to follow you or also to follow others. You need a schedule of activities, either annually or quarterly or monthly or weekly or even daily or even hourly, as long as it achieves the vision and mission of the quote, reaching out to help another woman. And so we insist that women should always take what we call a leadership training for you to be able to lead others, for others to follow. But there are 4 A's that is very important as a woman leader. You need to align with the vision. You must learn to align and stay in the framework of the vision. You have to be accountable. You have to be authentic, which means you must be original, and your heart must really be ready to serve, and you must be aware. You must be sensitive to the needs of others. And so we call it the 4 A's of leadership. And we hope that we are able to impact people with these 4 A's of leadership. There's no rule that says that you can't continue to learn. There's no rule that says that, because I feel I'm at the top of my career, I don't need any more information. No, everybody needs to learn. Everybody needs to put themselves out there for some sort of training, whether on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, to be able to acquire knowledge to do the right thing. We have a program called Seed Academy, and this helps to build economy for women. The seed means skills, empowerment, entrepreneurship, and employability for educational development. And we use this seed, which is like it's a 6 weeks program. Once you register for the program, you are skilled with a certification that allows you to even get a loan to be able to achieve what you want to achieve as an empowerment package. Our platforms are agricultural revolution, manufacturing and industrialization. We train you on those things. Waste management, service and research, power and energy, and currently we just added arts and culture and film production because of the creative industry. This seed promotes entrepreneurship, and it reduces unemployment. It helps you to create job, and you can become even self-employment without you looking for a job or creating your own job. It prepares you for short and long-term opportunities to either create your job or to use your skill in somebody else's job to help them develop it. And eradicate. The goal is to eradicate unemployment, make us self-employed, and to be able to work and learn at the same time. So you can be on a job and also still learn a skill. With this current economic situation, everybody needs an extra skill, either a skill all the sectors, or a skill that will help you to communicate and of course be paid while you are doing that. You need an extra skill. You need a skill in any of these sectors, in either agriculture, in manufacturing, in service, in research, in collecting data, in power and energy. We are right now doing a program on developing solar hubs in the market for women to be able to put their perishable crops. goods like tomatoes and vegetables, and we are building solar paneled cooling houses in the hubs in the markets. Just to let you know that there are a lot of opportunities out there. I am not the one doing it, but there are a lot of female engineers that are involved in this, and you'll be shocked at the professional level of which they display knowledge and they achieve those goals. So women are really resilient, and they know exactly what they want to achieve if they are given the platform. But it's always better for you to improve your own skill to be able to, improve the quality of life. We also believe that women should be involved in decision making, either at the household level or either in politics or in business or in your community. You need to be involved in decision making. And therefore, because women are powerful agents of change, and so women can organize better than men. Women can bring together, other women to talk to them. You need to be able to have a critical thinking opportunity for women as a collective group to address the issues of gender injustice and gender equality. And so we also feel that, women as a group, when they are as decision makers, they engage better with leadership bodies. They bring attention of government or any of the stakeholders or international partners to help them in the areas where they have needs. And so women in decision making is also women in leadership. And so because they have to make decisions on household income, over land issues in their communities, so they need some level of education. They also need level of education in the area of healthcare delivery for their families. Education is the most important backbone for women. And as we continue to talk about equal educational opportunity, this is the most important thing that a woman will do for themselves. Not everybody is going to become a professor. Not everybody is going to become a medical doctor. But in the opportunity to be educated is to get out of becoming illiterate. You need to go to formal school for primary school, secondary school education, have a diploma, pick your own line of career. It is important that you must read and write. Education is coined from the Greek word educare, which means to bring up. For you to bring up yourself, for you to be aware of your environment, for you to be able to know what is going on in climate change, for you to know that we're in the 21st century, it is a digital world. If they give you a tool, you should be able to spell your name, write your name. It is so important that education is so important for women. Whether you're at the rural area or in any sphere of life, you need to be educated. We just took it up to another level because we wanted to provide access for higher education space. Because in Nigeria, there is a problem of admission into higher education space. And so we use the platform for University for Women Africa for you to be able to have access and also have a digital platform to get educated. When you are educated, there are many benefits for you. When you are educated as an individual, you have opportunities for more employment, improved standard of living, you earn more and a better salary, you are mobile because you know exactly what you want, you have better quality of life, you know the kind of foods and having improved nutrition and health. And of course, there are a lot of opportunities available to you because you are educated. And so with education as the background, a woman that is denied of access to education is what we call a human capacity waste for the society. So it becomes paramount that education becomes the bedrock to breaking any barrier because you can read and write and you know what your rights are. A lot of women have been cheated because they don't know what their rights are. They don't know the law because they are not educated. But that is one of the reasons why women need to be educated. We talked about University for Women Africa. It becomes a platform for you to get a higher education degree, because we just want to ensure that, apart from the primary and secondary school, you can go further to get a diploma, you can get a bachelor's degree, you can get even a PhD if necessary. We thank the government of Nigeria for providing scholarship for the learners across the higher education schemes, so that, nobody has any excuse to be out of, a higher education space. We also think education is very important when you are talking about disabled learners, which means disabled people. With education, they can assess their situation as an individual and say, well, this is the direction and view and vision I have for my life. Just because somebody is disabled doesn't mean that, the person cannot thrive. We've seen people that are disabled that don't, that are thriving across the world. And we have mentors for them across the world. If you go online, you see people that, are blind, that are doing wonders in their own career path. So let us encourage people that are disabled, also that are female, that, they should, not look at themselves as if they're a waste to the society, but they can add value to their life with education. Inclusion, women inclusion is also a very, very important thing in terms of breaking barriers, especially in politics. In Nigeria, there is a lot of gaps, in women participation across board in governance. When you start looking at gender inclusivity, the Senator Kingibe said recent data reveals that women remain underrepresented in political spheres, with about 3.4% of parliamentary seats held by women, and that is very small. And so when you ask yourself, why aren't women in politics in Nigeria? It says about 51% of the women are involved in voting during election. And despite this, women are still underrepresented, both in elective and appointed positions. Women, representation in government is less than 7%. And that is too small, especially when we're talking about affirmative action of 35%. Women avoid politics because women feel there's a stereotype, and that has to be broken. And that is why we always try to advise any woman that is in a leadership political position to play their role well, because you don't realize that you are a mentor to a lot more women, even though they don't come to you, but they look at you with another binoculars that, oh, if this woman can be representing their constituency and she's achieving all this positively and people are talking about it, then there's interest for other women. So women are shy when it comes to putting themselves out there in politics. But, in terms of support at family level, they think it's men that should be doing politics. But that stereotype is changing. And that is why we are saying that the women that are in politics are going to be the lead women to encourage other women to take up this role. Women are involved in household economics, and if you ask a woman, why aren't you in politics, she said, well, it's too expensive, I can't afford it, and I am not ready to change my values when it comes to trying to attract funds. These are areas where we think government should help women that show interest in politics, that want to represent their constitution, so that forms for application of forms should be free for women that want to go into politics. There should be a lot of a lot of things that government needs to do for women to encourage them to stay in politics. Another area I would like to talk about is help. Women need help when it comes to ending violence against women. And every time I talk about violence against women, it's not my area of specialization, but it's very sore. It's very emotional for me, because a lot of women suffer in the hands of their partners as a result of gender violence, and they manage it. They keep quiet until the evil is done, their lives is taken. And you can see the stories all over. It's a sensitive thing. And I don't know if that stereotype must be broken, that a woman in a relationship, in a marriage, in a relationship that is leading to marriage should not be abused. And if somebody is going through that, they better walk away quietly, because violence does not help their life. Violence does not, is a cycle. It takes their life, and it takes their confidence. It takes everything about from their vision of who they really are. So the issue of gender against violence should be a major activity. I hope more foundations will be doing a lot more things about that, building shelter houses, talking to women, letting them know where their rights are, and providing shelter and giving them encouragement in terms of challenging traditional norms and characteristics that they expect at traditional level. There should be a call to action on gender-based violence, whereby women are to speak up, and those that have experienced it and have survived it should start a conversation. And so that, or even as an organization, when you want to start a conversation, why don't you use somebody that has survived it? And so that we can promote human rights, for the girl child and for women. And there is what we call human rights violation that has been perpetrated for decades. So this is the time to bring it to the light, so that all women will know what their rights are. We need to stand against rape as a culture. We need to name rape, and then we need to bring it to legal situation where whoever rapes a woman should probably lose their life. It needs to get to that point. Last week, somebody was reporting online where two men raped a 13-year-old to death. And you can imagine, it's wickedness. And I don't need, it gets emotional for me, so I don't like to talk about it. But when you hear women organizations addressing the issue of gender violence, of rape, the best thing is that we should support them, both financially and with our voices, so that more women will hear about that. We also want to hold our women in offices accountable. Recently, they are talking about sexual harassment, violence against women sexual harassment in workplaces and public spaces. And we've heard what has been in the news in the last few weeks. I always say, for you to be able to accuse somebody of sexual harassment, you must have enough evidences. Because you see, we're in a man's world, and if you don't have any, physical evidences that people will know, and the law will know that this is a situation, they probably just play lip service to it and think that women are just so unnecessarily emotional. So women also need to be upright on when they are accusing, and know what their rights are. Let's talk about food. Food security is very important. I mean, if you have no food to eat and the nation is not providing food, there will be chaos. Women play a very critical role in fulfilling, food security as food providers. They contribute to agricultural production. They contribute to productive value chain processing of foods, and women do more than men in area of food processing. There are a lot of women farmers, and women are faced with a lot of land issues. They are faced with agricultural inputs and fertilizers, and so women are so important in the when you look at the contribution for GDP production of the economy. Women need access to credit when it comes to agriculture and the type of agriculture program they embark on. Women should be given single-digit loans. You don't need a husband assistance or an husband to endorse you because you're a woman to get a loan as a farmer, and some of the banks are still doing that. Women, need to break those barriers. As a woman who has a farm, who has a vision of what they want to do, I think on their merits, they should be able to have access to loan and, of course, support. Bank of Agriculture has put up some programs for women to go through training in the area of application for loan so that they can also fulfill all righteousness, or not only taking the loan and also to pay back. Data shows that, in Nigeria, women contribute to cassava, maize, rice, legume production, and also livestock production. And agriculture has been known to contribute about 25% of the continent's GDP. Women contributing percent out of this 25%. And so women are very important when you talk about agriculture. As I bring my presentation to a close, because I'm timed, I would just want to reflect on what the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs in Nigeria said in the last few weeks about when we were in a meeting on women and women blueprints for Nigeria. Madam Imam Suleiman Ibrahim. I want to commend her for the work she's doing, and hopefully we should be able to see more opportunities for women on this. Their goal is to achieve gender parity in Nigeria. And they can't work alone, they're going to work across board with all the stakeholders. They want to close the gender gap and foster equal opportunities for women in Nigeria. They call it the new era, and that women make up half of the country's population. So Nigeria is over 200 million people, so half of it is women. Nigerian women still face significant socio-economic and political barriers, and so it is noted even at the ministry level. So therefore, they're recommending skills development, entrepreneurship, support, employment opportunities, political participation as key to achieving gender balance. And I know Rigamos Foundation is also doing some of this, and also CD Osho Foundation, we are also doing some of that. But just to let you know that we are on the right path in terms of what will help other women in terms of bridging the gender gap and untangling deeply rooted discriminatory practices. Taking decisive action, monitoring, law enforcement to ensure effective implementation of policies and protecting vulnerable groups, including women, children, and persons with disabilities, is part of their goals. In Nigeria, statistics reveal that job placements and appointments and elective positions remain significantly skewed in favor for men. And so you find less women in boardrooms. Currently, women hold less than 5% of elective positions nationwide, and less than 22% of senior leadership roles in the private sector. And so we need to close the gender gap with inclusivity strategies to foster equal opportunities for both men and women. And so we want to join governments to drive policies to support women advancement through education, through vocational training, through professional and leadership development. As we approach 2025, and Nigeria will be marking the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Platform for Action, and this will be 10 years anniversary of at 2030 for Sustainable Development Agenda. We will intensify commitments for women, because in 2020 they will be demanding accountability of what we have achieved as a country for women. And so all women, the accelerated action is now. In 2023, the president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, promised to give women positions. Only 5% of women were included in their allocations. And when we look at the 5% affirmative action, the president of Nigeria needs to do more. So when we start talking about accelerated action, We want to achieve the 35% affirmative action. We want women to be part of this agenda of working with ministries, in departments, in MDAs, in the private sector, in civil society, with international partners to align efforts to avoid duplication and maximize resources and work together for accelerated action to achieve gender equality. In conclusion, a woman is the most unique creation of God, and every woman has the potential of being a builder and not a destroyer if the potentials are properly nurtured and channeled. Our innate qualities, which include the ability to show love sacrificially, endure hardship, pain, stress, and difficulties, are being tender-hearted, are qualities women and qualified women to be major components in building lasting structures in their home and in the nation. Women have contributed to building nations across continents. Some of them are passed on to eternity, but their works still speak on. Some of them are alive and they are being celebrated. Women are not a disadvantaged group. Being a woman, rather, you have great opportunities waiting for you to utilize. Please buckle up your sandals, pick up yourself, and move to the highest level of your career. Join hands with other women and let us arise to build our nation, our businesses, our homes, and our lives. I would like to congratulate Rigamos Foundation for this platform to talk about accelerated action. It's a step in the right direction. In the meeting I went to, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, yes, they were talking, celebrating Women's Day too. And it was in the Nigerian Exchange Securities Group. And there was a poet. The lady's name is Emanuela. By the time she delivered a poem on women, every woman was almost close to tears but also celebrated because she really did what we call a call to action. And I'm going to join her to do also a call to action for women. It says, pull her up, lift her up, empower her, call her, help her, fund her, and praise her. I want to thank you for listening to this. And so I hope with those little tips, let us pull her up, lift her up, lift women together, fund women together, and praise women together. Thank you. God bless you. Hopefully, as we continue our conversation, there are a list of women that have achieved so much, those living and non-living, and we'll have an opportunity to discuss them as individuals. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Professor C.D. Osho. That was quite an informative keynote address that you've given. You actually nailed it for us, and I believe our listeners have been able to gain a lot of insight when it comes to accelerating action to empower women. You talked about strategies we need to accelerate action, that is breaking barriers, which you said includes for women to be able to recognize, I took that into consideration, to recognize the 4 A's of leadership, which is very, very important. And it helps to align, it helps women to align and stay in the vision, for them to also be aware of themselves, aware of their self-worth, and to also be aware of others. These are very insightful statements. I will just summarize for those probably listening who may not have been able to get all the points. Professor Osho also talked about the need for women to support women, which she called support the supporters. And this is very, very key, especially when women are trying to thrive. They need mentors that will also support them. She also talked about, she really nailed it on the aspect of women political participation, which is another key area that we need women, especially those who have attained these positions, to also support other women who have taken interest in politics, because we understand that this terrain is dominated normally by men. But because women are icebreakers, we break barriers, we are also able and equipped to take up these positions, political leadership as well as decision making. Thank you very much, Professor Sidi Oso, for these wonderful insights that you have given to us today. And so, very quickly, because of our time, we will be moving straight to the panel discussion. To lead us in this panel discussion, I want to welcome our guest panelists. We have three other guest panelists, powerful women across the globe, who are here with us today to share their valuable insights to every one of us. First on our list is we have Sarah Kuponi. She is the founder of Alora Reusable Pads. Sarah Kuponi is a trailblazing public health professional, social health entrepreneur, is an author and an advocate for gender equality and menstrual health equity. With a proven track record in research, policy advocacy, and project management. Sarah's work spans critical areas such as health system strengthening, youth development, and climate resilient menstrual health solutions. She is the founder of Allure Reusable Pads, an eco-friendly menstrual hygiene social enterprise, and the visionary behind a well-informed adolescent initiative, a platform dedicated to equitable access to sexual and reproductive health services for young people. As an author, Sarah has written USID recommended books such as Teens Blueprint and My Period, which provides comprehensive sex education and menstrual health guidance for adolescents. Her efforts have positively impacted over 15,000 young people and facilitated the distribution of more than 20,000 reusable pads to underserved communities. In 2024, Sarah was selected by the US government as one of Africa's most promising young leaders through the prestigious Mandela Washington Fellowship. She's also the recipient of the 2025 UK Study Alumni Business and Innovation Award by the British Council, recognizing her outstanding contributions to social entrepreneurship and menstrual health innovation. Her accolades further include the 2022/2023 Chevening Scholarship, a nomination for the International Women's Day 2023 award by the UN Women Nigeria, and recognition as a Rich Award honoree 2019 by reaching the last mile. She has also been honored with the Women Developers Award and the Sustainable Development Goals Advocate Award. Her work has earned global recognition, including a nomination for the 120 Under 40 New Generation of Family Planning Leaders by the Bill and Melinda Gates Institute, with a mission to inspire transformative change. Sarah continues to advocate for a world where gender equity, youth empowerment, and sustainable health solutions are within everyone's reach. Kindly join me to welcome Sarah Kuponi. You're welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you very much for giving me this amazing, good welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Next
you
on
very
our
much.
list, next on our list is another powerful woman who has been making impacts all over. She is no other person than Yolanda Peterson. She is the Chief Executive Director, Beget Group. Ms. Yolanda Peterson is an established business strategist, project lead, moderator, facilitator, and keynote public speaker who delivers high energy keynote presentations that challenges audiences to leverage their focus and pay attention to what matters most, both at work and in her life. She holds various positions that includes, but not limited to, the following: South African country chair for G100, All Ladies League, Youth Enterprise and Leadership Wing. She is the Global Advisory Board member, Without You Foundation Nigeria. She is also a member of the Advisory Council, Special Needs Young Adults, the Shumis Scott Foundation. She's also member of the Charles Walton Society for Innovation and Research, India, member of the Global Educators Fraternity, India, member of the Modern Institute of Professional Studies. She is a business mentor within the First Lady Chamber, South Africa. Yolanda has a keen passion for community development and empowerment, especially that of women and the girl child, framing, drafting, and leading on strategic projects and policy development. At the core of her current social impact project, she focuses on three key pillars: women economic empowerment, youth economic empowerment, capacity building for the unemployed youth through education. Please welcome Ms. Yolanda Peterson.
Margaret, thank you so much. I'm hoping everyone can hear me today. So, greetings on this beautiful International Women's Day, especially greetings from South Africa, greetings from Cape Town, South Africa. But I have to stop here because, of course, I prepared my presentation and I just want to say, Professor Sidi, I have been nodding in agreement to so many things you have said throughout your presentation. My presentation is very different. It's more conversational, but we needed someone like you to bring in the stats, to bring in the hard facts, to have us look at what is women facing currently. And I love the fact that you have mentioned education. That's a big part of my work. That is how I reach the girl child. That is how I reach women. That is how I reach my society back home. But in general, I have to agree with you that education for women is so important because it's the education that sets us free. And especially in a digital world, you have mentioned, um, we have to get aligned with AI. We need more women pivoting, doing a turning point in that space. I also loved that you mentioned, Professor City, the education of disabled people or differently abled people, as we would call them in our spaces when we speak about them. And that education can change. Education changes lives. That's why all of us do what we do. We educate, we empower, we upskill, we develop, and we empower. And that is the four pillars of your seed foundation. So, like I said again, I'm just nodding here in agreement because my presentation is short lived. Your presentation was so, so very powerful. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for it. And when we look to
Thank,
women in politics, especially,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
because I used to
thank
do these talks when I'm presenting facts, when I'm presenting what's happening at the UN, what is happening with that 7% of women that is represented in government, what is happening with our women that needs to be dictating policy, implementing policy,
you,
etc., at
Yolanda.
the governmental level. Yes.
Thank you very much for those insights. I believe we'll get more insight from you when it's time for you to take up your speakers panel position. Thank you so much for recognizing this fact. Okay, so I'll call on the next. I just want to introduce our next panelist. We have Joy Amor. She's the president African Civil Society Forum. Joy Amor is a distinguished legal professional, civil society leader, and advocate for women's leadership, inclusion, and empowerment. With over 14 years of experience spanning law, human resources, advocacy, administrative leadership, and procurement. She has established herself as a dynamic force in governance, policy advocacy, and women advancement. Currently, she serves as the president of the Africa Civil Society Forum in Nigeria, where she leads efforts to strengthen civic governance, civic engagement, policy dialogue, governance reforms. And she's at the forefront of reviewing the African and Nigerian policies, identifying gaps, advocating for reforms, and aligning governance frameworks with Agenda 2063 and Nigeria's national development goals. She is the Nigerian country chair for the G100 Global Networking Wing, a global initiative that connects and uplifts women leaders across various sectors. Her work is dedicated to breaking systemic barriers, amplifying women's voices in decision making, and fostering and including leadership culture that creates opportunities for women to thrive in governance, business, and society. As a sought after speaker, she has graced prestigious platforms such as the Women Economic Forum, where she has shared insights on leadership, governance, and women's empowerment. She is committed to strengthening civil society's role in governance, advancing gender responsive policies, and ensuring that women's voices shape Africa's political and economic landscape. Her work continues to drive systemic change, ensuring that women's leadership, inclusion, and empowerment are at the heart of Africa's democratic and developmental progress. Please join me once again to welcome Joy Amor. You're
Thank you.
welcome,
Thank
ma'am,
you so much. A pleasure. So good to be here. Thank you.
and thank you for gracing this occasion. So, because of our time, we will quickly move to the panel discussion. And the panel discussion will be taking this order. I will be calling on our first panelist, Miss Yolanda Peterson. Miss Yolanda, you have 4 minutes, 4 minutes to talk about the question that I'm going to put forward to you now. So we are trying to work with time so that we can finish on time. So Miss Yolanda Peterson, considering your advanced level when it comes to women's empowerment, on a
Mm.
scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate Nigeria in terms of advancing the girl child education, women's economic rights, leadership, decision making, and political rights? And please give reasons for this rating,
All
just
right.
your own personal rating.
Yeah. To our beautiful, beautiful moderator, Margaret, thank you so much. So sorry about earlier because I thought it was my time to speak. In answer to your question, I can honestly not answer that question. I would not be able to answer on Nigeria. But what I can do for you is answer on South Africa. So, in terms of
Oh,
decision
oh,
making, in terms of yes, because that will still encapsulate the essence of international women, right? So, in terms of South Africa, when it comes to decision making, when it comes to education, when it comes to political views, when it comes to representation, when it comes to gender parity, when it comes to women in arts and science and even ministry, evangelistic women, I think that we desperately need help. Yes, there's very many resources available, much more than in than eras gone by. So with these resources, I also feel that as women, we have lost connection. So the resources has increased, the connection, that really held women together who fought for not only our daughters, not only for ourselves, not only for our mothers and grandmothers and every other seed of our loin going forward. They stood in unity. They were strong in their fight. They were strong in their vision. And I find modern day women, especially in business, I mean, I've prepared an entire little spiel here, but if I could just go down to the end of my talk, we need to be asking ourselves, is breaking barriers, because we are formidable in leading projects, not only, loudly, but we are also leading projects silently. As women, there is just so much that we go through. So today, when I speak about breaking barriers, are we also breaking barriers in the minds of women? Are we renewing our mindsets on a daily? Do we have that connection? And for me, that is one of the messages I want to drive home today is the connection, the re-establishment of connection of women. And to say, you know what, hey, when you are, I mean, we had Professor City. She was so impactful to me. I've made so many notes. If we're looking at gender parity and we are only going to be fulfilling the gender parity, or the current rate at which we are going will only be fulfilled in 2058. That is 134 years from now. Do you think we can afford to be acting in silos? No. We absolutely cannot. We need to be holding hands. We need to be united in this fight. This fight for education, this fight for human rights, for women, and for women to understand their rights. The fight for decision making, not only in the women's homes, because we play a pivotal role in our homes. We play a pivotal role in our communities and in the broader society. So for me, it's about connection, building bridges, and also having a look at, when I say building bridges and that renewing of our minds, if we lead with our hearts, ladies, if we lead with passion, if we are relentless, and that if we remind ourselves that if you don't dare big, you're not risking anything. And at this point in society, we need to be risking as women. We need to be climbing to higher dates. And like I said again before, I can speak of so many things right now this evening that our listeners will truly be interested in. But my question solely tonight is, what are the barriers within us as women? What are the barriers within our internal limitations? And thirdly, are we breaking those mental barriers? Are we establishing those those connections, the connections that we are needing to have in order to fight a renewed fight? Because guys, we know what we're fighting about. We know what those who've gone before us has fought for, has fought to, and has fought for what? So as women, I am advocating that we form a stronger sisterhood, a fight towards unity to further future goals, which aids the woman and the girl child. While I was preparing for the speech today, I asked my 10-year-old little girl, listen, Grace, what do you think? When you think about women, what are the first thoughts that comes to your mind? And she so excitingly said to me, Mommy, I think that women are powerful. And I think women are independent. And I think women can take a lot. Mind you, this is a 10-year-old mind. And women work hard. And I immediately went, that was my litmus test, you see, because I wanted to know how far we've truly come as women along the way. Because if generations down from us are still struggling, then we've got a lot of work to do. But I was so proud at her answer. And I just thought, you know what? The women that has come before us, the women that has gone behind us, the women that we are today, like Prof. Sidi said, mentorship, leading other women, sisterhood, connection, effecting change, being true, being authentic. If these are the words of a young girl, ladies, let you all be encouraged today that we are doing something right. And I said to her, listen, go and illustrate. And I wanted to do this as well. Go and illustrate, what do you mean when you say women are powerful and women are independent, etc., etc. And I just want to, she said, this is for Dr. Regina. And this is what she drew. And she drew this picture. Not certain if you can see, but it was so beautiful. We are impacting our young girls. We've been doing this for 20 plus years.
Exactly.
We are, yes, we are reaching them. We just have to reach more. We have to reach more in our poverty stricken areas because those girls want to. In fact, I find in my work, and I'm so passionate about this, that our girls in our dire poverty stricken areas are so bright, are so confident.
Thank you.
They deserve more. And if I should ever stop my advocating of the women and girl child, Dr. Regina, I allow you this day to give me that call and kind of go, sis, it's time we do a connect talk. Do not stop. So we are doing great work, ladies. We are, yeah, we are impacting, we are effecting change. Is it enough? Is it truly enough? Probably not. Not at this time. If we look at 134 years of achieving the gender parity gap, but will we strive to continue to fight and raise up beautiful, strong daughters to take the baton from us, whether our own or whether community daughters? No, no, we
Thank
won't.
you. Thank you so much, Yolanda Peterson. Yeah, just before you leave us, because I understand you would need to leave soon, I would like to know, given all that you have identified, which, like you mentioned, women has lost connection. This is the case in South Africa, right? And of course, South Africa also is experiencing a lot of gender-based issues against women. So, what would you recommend to the South African government in this regard on ensuring quick or accelerated action to ensure that accelerated action is taken in the right steps to achieve women and girls empowerment? Just your recommendations to the government.
Listen to women. Listen to women
Right.
because their stories carry power. Listen to women and then implement policy around having women within decision making roles. If we look to South Africa, I can speak of many stats right now, which because of time, I'm not going to go into. But we need the ordinary grassroots woman's voice, profile to be raised within governments because this is our communities. And if we don't get our homes, our communities, and our societies right, we're not going to get country, neither the international global world right. So, firstly, protect our women because they are the ones at home with the kids. They are the ones trailblazing in business. They are the ones causing effect on the forefront at any community issue. Give them land ownership. Economic empowerment is so important for women because if women do not have their own money, and I'm also loving the fact that Prof. Sidi said, the funding of women within agriculture, within manufacturing, within waste management, power and energy, arts and culture, film and production, those are the spaces we need to be influencing as women. And those are the true stories, the authentic stories that needs to come out. And then further to that, we need to have a vision, a mission, and a clear, concise plan on white paper that we can present to government that cannot be ignored.
Thank you very much for those recommendations. And I hope that this would be well taken by the government in South Africa to implement it, because even in Nigeria, we are also facing similar challenges. It cuts across globally. And it's very interesting to hear you speak about the issues that are inherent in South Africa. Thank you. And we are so grateful to have you here. Thank you very much once again. And so quickly, I would move to our next guest panelist, Sarah Kuponi. If you could please tell us in just 3 minutes about your work and how you have been supporting women and the girl child empowerment through your organization. Ms. Sarah Kuponi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone, once again, and happy International Women's Day. Thank you very much for having me here. For me, what I've been doing, I work on menstrual health, ensuring that young girls are, provided with resources that they need to observe their periods in a dignified manner. Looking at young girls and young women that are, socioeconomically disadvantaged. This has various impacts on their education, on their health, on their sexual reproductive health as well as a whole. So this is my passion as well. And it started from my own personal lived experience growing up as a young girl. So in order to see that this problem, is addressed, that is why I am passionate about menstrual health. So I have a social enterprise where we employ people, both women, young people, to manufacture and distribute reusable parts in the country. And so far, we've been able to make more than 20,000 reusable parts, courtesy our partners, both non-for-profit partners as well as government partners. And this has really helped girls stay in school so that they have access to menstrual hygiene products as well as observing their periods in a dignified manner, because menstrual health is not just about the hygiene, it's about the dignity, it's about the education, and it's about the empowerment. That is what I've been doing, and this goes a long way in contributing to the purpose of International Women's Day, which is to accelerate action. Because if young girls do not have access to menstrual supplies, it increases their risk of being absent from school. When they are not in school, they are not able to get education, they are at risk of teenage pregnancy. And when they get pregnant, that has already put a stumbling block on their education, as well as for them to be able to maybe go to university in the long run or get a job later on. And then it perpetuates cycle of poverty over and over again. So that is part of the things I'm passionate about, because providing young girls with menstrual health education also helps them to understand about their bodies, also helps them to make informed decisions, and this helps them on having a stronger chance at a better future. And we know that when women are empowered, it has ripple effects on the society. An empowered woman would definitely contribute to a society, not just for herself, it will also help our children, because if a woman is educated, she's empowered, she'll be able to make informed decisions. Even she'll be able to have better health-seeking behavior for herself and for our children as well. And this has like different linking factors to so many things, to health, to empowerment, to education. So that is why it is very, very important that we take this very serious for both young girls as well as women. It's very important that we break period stigma, we advocate for better menstrual health policies, and we push more for our government to be able to do more in terms of infrastructures in schools, wash infrastructures, so that girls can be able to stay in school, have education, as well as observe their menstruation in a dignified manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah, for highlighting those facts. I like the fact that you said that menstrual health is not just about the hygiene, um, but it's about dignity and empowerment of girls. This is very true, and the work you're doing is so huge. It's so huge, and God bless you more as you impact young girls across Nigeria. So I would be taking on the next panelist. That's in person of Joy Amor. I hope I'm pronouncing the name very well, correctly. Miss Joy Amor, please could you please answer this question in just 4 minutes so that we can keep to time. As the president of the Africa Civil Society Forum, I would like you to tell us or share your insights at the level of the United Nations and other international stakeholders, including the civil society. What do you think can be done differently to ensure that accelerated progress is being made to close the gaps on achieving gender equality, specifically with focus on women's leadership, decision making, and political participation in Nigeria? We understand a lot is being done, but what is that thing that you think that the Nigeria, that you think the United Nations as well as other international stakeholders can do differently to help us accelerate progress in achieving gender equality with specific focus on women leadership, decision making, and political participation in Nigeria? Can you hear me, ma'am? Are you there, Miss Joy Amor? I can't hear her. Can anyone hear her?
Let's see. I doubt if she's still here. Um, okay, I think she's still here. I can see someone here. Madam
Okay.
Joy, are you there, please? Okay,
I'm
she's
here.
coming on. Okay.
Oh,
Yes, it's your turn.
Yeah,
Thank you.
please, can you repeat the question again? The network
can I
was
take the
breaking
question
a
again?
lot.
Okay, I said that at the level of the United Nations and other international stakeholders, including the civil society, what do you think can be done differently to ensure that accelerated progress is being made to close the gaps on achieving gender equality, especially with focus on women's leadership, decision making, and political participation in Nigeria? Despite all the efforts that has been made so far, what can we do? What can the UN and the civil society and all the stakeholders do differently?
I think what the UN and the civil societies in Nigeria need to do is over the past years, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of conversations that have been held across boards on what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. And sometimes these conversations are held and there is no accountability as to the implementations of what is being decided on these tables. It is time for CSOs and NGOs and stakeholders to rise up to the occasion and begin to walk the talk. We have talked over the years, and even the women themselves are getting weary of the talk, actually, because they feel like it's so much talk and no action. And then I begin to feel like our male counterparts are actually leveraging on that. So it is a call to action, like the theme of this year is accelerate action, accelerate progress. And the action may not be those big things that you big decisions. The actions can come in small steps. It can come in small packages. The United Nations can begin to hold Nigeria accountable for decisions that are being made, for discussions that are being held. Accountability is key when you begin to hold them accountable, and then not just to talk but see to it that those decisions are implemented. CSOs also don't need to compromise themselves while speaking to government, because if you have to speak truth to power, you must stand independent and you must be sure of what you're saying. You mustn't be compromised in any way. Um, of course, we still have a lot of leadership issues. We have poor representation, like Professor rightly mentioned, poor representation of leadership on the leadership decision making tables. There's poor representation of women, actually. And then you can't have a balanced economy or a balanced democracy without the input of women. It is so important that women are properly represented across boards in leadership, in every leadership table, across all sectors, actually. It is so important that women need to be properly represented. I'll give you an example. We have a poor representation of women at the National Assembly here in Nigeria, and I do not see how decisions can be taken properly and policies can be pushed to actually protect the rights and privileges of women. Take, for instance, a man at the National Assembly may, so to say, try to push a bill, for example, on reproductive rights. But he may not be able to push that bill holistically because he doesn't understand what it means to go through the reproductive cycle. It takes a woman who has experienced the reproductive cycle, who knows what it means to go through a menstrual cycle, who knows what it means to go to the labor room and have a child, to push for those reproductive pills. And that goes to also laws, the employment laws, where you have inequality, you know, in the employment sector, where you have the gap in pay, the gap in payment of salaries. There is the disparity between the men and the women. So leadership, I will tell the Nigerian government to sit up and walk the talk. There's been a lot of promises of having women, of saying, oh, we're going to have a lot of women in this government and we're going to do this and that. But we see little or no steps being taken in that direction. It is time to take those steps. Even if they are baby steps, we need to move. We have 150 years to achieve gender equality. That is a long walk from here. So we need to consistently take those steps towards achieving our aim. We need as CSOs to hold government accountable, speak truth to power, and not just speak it, but see to it that it is being done. women and even the girl child, they are actually depending on us, depending on the actions that we take today, that would actually determine what kind of future we'll give our daughters tomorrow, what kind of leadership we are going to put in place for our daughters to occupy. We do not want to leave this earth and then our daughters spit on our graves and then they continue the struggle. I will take, for instance, I will digress a bit. While we are yet asking for leadership positions and then we are asking for a seat at the table, I will speak to the women in particular. Are you ready for what you're asking for? It is not enough to ask for a seat at the table. It is not enough to say we want an equal treatment, equal opportunities. But are you sincerely ready for what you're asking for? It is not for you to stumble onto leadership. You need to prepare for it. That is why education is important. That is why you need to acquire the necessary skills for leadership. You are going into leadership to pave the way for others to follow. You are going into leadership to open the doors wide for other people to be able to pass through and then go ahead and break other doors open for generations to come. So, are you ready for what you're asking for? Or do you just want to stumble into leadership and then go there and commit a blunder? It is not just about education within the four walls. It is about acquiring the necessary skills for leadership. While we are pushing for governments to create an enabling environment for women to thrive and flourish, while we are speaking to government to, implement and to give us policies that make us equal, that gives us equal opportunities, are we truly ready? Um, if you ask me, for a woman, an average woman who says she wants to go into leadership, I mean, the mentality is, they should give me this position because I am a woman. And I beg to differ. You need to equip yourself, educate yourself, and then you can place a demand from a place of power. You are not negotiating for your rights. They are your fundamental rights. But if you do not know your rights and then you are not prepared for what you're asking for, then you'll be disadvantaged. So you need to prepare for the leadership positions. As the United Nations pushes and as we continue the conversations over 30 years, and then we are saying in 2025 we should accelerate and take action rather than do a lot of talk. The women on the side should actually prepare for these leadership positions so that when you get there, you don't commit blunder and then give our male counterparts the reason, to take us back 20 years. 20 years back, I will take the popular scenario of Betta Edu. I'm sorry, I need to take that. She went into power and she was a breath of fresh air for younger women to occupy the leadership positions, in government. And it kind of gave hope to women, knowing that women are not usually encouraged to go into the political space for different reasons. Oh, you are a woman, you shouldn't aspire to be up there. You are a woman, you should just be, your highest achievement should be that you're married and you are in a man's house and you bear children. So we have women who are changing that narrative and challenging that stereotype. So when you have women who want to go into leadership positions, you should be prepared. I believe that Better Edu could have done better in sustaining that position because you need character to sustain that position. You need the skill set to sustain that position. And as much as we are clamoring for leadership position, we are also not forgetting that we need the collaboration of our male counterparts. It's not just about the women. We need the men to help us make this work. And I want to speak to leadership, speak to women. As much as you're mentoring women, you're speaking to women, you're speaking to leadership, remember that we have the history, remember that we have the legacy, remember that we have the experience, remember that we have the because as much as Because as much as you're preparing the girl child for the future, as much as you're preparing the woman for leadership positions, remember that she is also going to be in the same space with the men folk. So, United Nations, speak truth to power, hold Nigeria accountable for everything that they have promised to do in terms of inclusion and gender equality. And to the women, prepare yourself for the position that you're so clamoring for. Take action, take the necessary steps, and acquire the skills needed. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for those wonderful insights. Yes, like you mentioned the core issue, which is accountability. I mean, it's high time that the international stakeholders increases accountability when we talk about um, attaining gender parity. So you also mentioned the aspect where the civil societies need to rise up and walk the talk, because we've had, like you said, we've had so much talk and so much noise has been done, but little action. And so this action needs to be taken in small steps. It should be taken in a way that women can begin to see progress, rather than they having so much talk and little progress. A lot of issues has been identified when Professor Osho was speaking. She mentioned some of the issues that are affecting women, especially gender-based violence, which is also inherent in our society. But then all these are issues that the international community also needs to address when we talk about upholding the rights of women. And yes, you said the UN needs to hold Nigeria accountable. And that is a very critical part that I really look forward to, on how this holding the government accountable can really, really happen. Because a lot has been said, but Nigeria keeps going for the VNR review when we go for the high level UN political forum. So many things are being discussed, but yet the issues are still there. How do they begin to hold countries, not just Nigeria now, countries accountable to ensure that they are able to implement these human rights policies within their various countries? And so, thank you very much for that insight. And I believe that our audiences are listening and they've been able to gain valuable insight. And even to the women, it is high time that women begin to take control of their own future. That is where at, attaining leadership skills comes in, as well as economic empowerment skills. When Professor also was speaking, she mentioned the Seed Foundation Academy, where women can acquire skills. There are so many avenues out there that women need, but they also need that mentorship, they need that push that will help them. And I could recall that Miss Yolanda talked about losing that connection, especially in the case of South Africa. It is high time, like she mentioned, she talked about sisterhood. It is high time that women begin to take seriously that aspect of identifying themselves as sisters, women supporting women, support the supporters. These are all strategies that has been mentioned by our wonderful speakers today. And I think that if all this can be taken serious, right, as individual women, individual young females, I believe that women will go a long way to breaking barriers. But yet, we understand that we live in a society, a patriarchal society, whereby men dominate. And this is why the message is also being passed across to our various governments, both in Nigeria and in South Africa, as well as globally, for governments to take women empowerment seriously, not just giving us lip service, but there is need for this to take I mean, for them to take active steps. And we need the civil society organization to advance this cause. That is how we can be able to collectively join forces together to ensure that progress is being accelerated. Thank you so much to all our speakers because of we're running out of time and I wouldn't want to keep the audience for too long. We would like to open up the floor now for questions. I'll just look at the comment section if we have any questions from our listeners. If you have questions, kindly drop it in the comment section and I would read out these questions. And I would just give a few minutes for that to happen. I am not seeing any question yet. Okay, I'll just read out some comments here. This is from Abigail Obanro. She says, very insightful. Thank you, Ma. It's a call for character and upskilling for women. Thank you very much, Abigail. And Temitoke was addressing Joy Amor. She said, well spoken. And Lola Alao says, very in depth. Well done, sister. We have preparation and education is key. This is from Temitope Idowu Adebayo. And she also says, experience is the best teacher. Very true. And we have Tia Makai. She's welcoming Auntie Joy. And Daniel Joseph says, thank you, Ma. We have Esther Enyia who commented. She said, awesome. Then we have Daniel Joseph. He says, thank you very much, Professor C.D. Osho. Okay, and we also have other listeners here. Elvis Unachuku, he says amazing. Joseph Brace, Joe says good. Daniel says, okay. We also have Grace Akoja Adeyemi on the call here listening. Esther Enyia, Ruma Odogun, and every other person that I haven't been able to call out your names. We could see your comments in the comments section. Thank you very much for your wonderful contributions. And I believe that you've been able to glean important, key, valuable information from this discussion. You've been able to understand what the role of the women should be when it comes to they playing their part as well. If we are to accelerate progress, it is not just a concern of the government alone, even though we understand that the government has major key role to play. But we as women, we also have our own roles to play. So finally, we'll just take a very brief parting shots from our guest speakers. Um, I would I would start with Miss Yolanda. Can you briefly, in just a few seconds, give us a parting shot? What do you want to say to our listeners on this very topic?
Thank you so much, Margaret. It was an absolute pleasure to be here. It's an absolute pleasure to be online with our listeners. I would say, women, let your voices be raised. Let your voices be elevated. Let your stories be told because they cannot deny your truth. They can deny it for a day, but they cannot deny it forever. So if you have something that you need to speak about, reach out to organizations specializing in those areas, and we will certainly raise you to the platform. So thank you to Regamas Foundation. Thank you to the formidable Dr. Regina Iman and a very capable team. Warm greetings from Cape Town, South Africa.
Thank you very much. That's quite awesome. And can we get a final parting shot from Madam Sarah Kuponi? Just in a few seconds, your parting shot.
She's not here. She um has left. She has another program to attend.
Okay, thank you for that. We would listen to Madam Joy Amor. Can you give us your brief parting shots?
Well, I will want to once again congratulate every woman. Happy International Women's Day. Um, and I would encourage every woman to prepare. Prepare for what you are asking for, prepare for what you are demanding for. And then I also believe that women should be united in their purpose. They should be united in what you're seeking for, and then a united front will go a long way. And like I said before, ask yourself, what do I need to do to take those steps, those little steps, towards achieving the ultimate goal. It doesn't have to be the big picture. It could be consistent small steps towards achieving, you know, the ultimate goal. And to every woman, I want to tell you that you are strong, you are capable, you are deserving. You shouldn't limit yourself. You're deserving of every opportunity and every dream. So continue to push boundaries, uplift one another, and let's build a future that we also deserve. I will leave you with a quote from Michelle Obama. There is no limit to what we as women can accomplish, if only we can unite in purpose. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
great.
you so much. That was quite awesome. And so finally, we'd like to hear from Professor CD Ocho, who is our amiable keynote speaker for today. Can you please, ma'am, give us your parting shots?
First, I want to thank you again for the platform to share experiences. The theme has said it all: accelerate action. After all the presentations, powerful presentations on what women should do, I think it is time for us to take those little steps and those big steps and work together. And like I said, the poet said, pull her, call her, lift her, praise her, help her. We need to help each other. It's women should stand together now to achieve gender equality. It's not an individual, it's a collective action, and we should all go for it at this time in our little ways, in our little spaces, in our opportunities, in our workspaces. We should start those actions. Small steps, big steps. Let us accelerate the action for gender equality. And we want to wish everybody an International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you so much. Happy International Women's Day to every one of us. Thank you. So, in closing, we will be bringing this event to a close. I would like to call on the Executive Director, Ragamos Foundation, Ambassador Regina Inen, to give us her closing remarks.
Wow, wow, wow. All I can say is wow. It has been a fantastic time listening to different perspectives and learning from every one from every one of you. First of all, I want to say thank you. We've been here since 5 till now, and you're all here. Thank you
Mhm.
for your time. Thank you for impacting. Thank you for taking this little step to accelerate, because what we've done here today, we're actually accelerating. And as we go back to our different foundations, to our different field, to our different world, remember, we are the ones that can lead the younger ones up there. We are the ones that can make that difference. So let's keep making the difference. Let's keep breaking the barriers. I've enjoyed every one I've learned from every one of us. I don't really want to go out back again to what we've learned, but there are some things that I took away from this. Every woman in governance in Nigeria needs to be prepared. We don't want women going up there and shutting the door against other women from getting up there. We need to be prepared. Again, what I got again from here is breaking barriers starts from us, from every woman. Yes, we were talking about breaking barriers and we're talking about the outside. What about us? Have we been able to break the barriers that is stopping us? So I think we should start from us. Check yourself. What barriers do you need to break? Check your family, your girl child. Are there any barriers you need to break? Everyone here, our girl child should be the future president of Nigeria. It starts from us. So let's take the baby step from ourselves, from our home, to our community, to the nation. So our powerful voice will stand together, empower her, break the barrier, shape the future, but accelerate the steps today. Thank you for your time. Thank you, the moderator. Thank you, Begamo's team. I can tell you behind the scene, we have our team, our volunteers, young boys and girls, I tell you, that are already taking these steps. They are they are the ones that have put this together. I am just in the forefront. I don't do the work. They do the work. So thank you, every one of you.
Thank you.
Lizzie, Ayomi, Abami, every one of you that has made sure today is a success. God bless you all. And finally, all glory to God that has made this possible, that has made this event a success. All glory to God that will help us in our own little space to break every barrier and accelerate and meet the goals that we desire. God bless you. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you so much. Together, let's say empower her.
Yeah.
Can we go?
Empower her. Okay.
Empower her.
Empower her.
Empower
Empower her.
her.
Empower her.
Thank you so much to our
Okay.
wonderful
All
guest
right. Bye.
speakers and our
Thank
powerful
you.
audience.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
you. God bless
Bye.
you. Thank you,
Okay.
Titi. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Thank you, Prof. Thank you,
Thank you
Myra.
for the presentations, Landa and Maka. That's great. Well
You were
done.
Yeah.
amazing, bro. You were
Thank
so
you,
amazing.
Yolanda. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
Joy. Yeah, thank you. God
Thank
bless you
you.
all.
Thank
Bye bye,
God
everyone.
bless
Bye.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Yeah.